I think Ramesh is muted, so I can hear you, sir.
Yes, I can.
Okay, welcome everyone. So I'll again like the same process. I'll go through the questions in the Q&A app. If you have any live questions, you can feel free to interrupt me, right? So Neeraj, I'll just go through. First question is, does Google use keyword planner search for a brand in making sure whether this is a brand website or not? So first things first, keyword planner search is a tool for Adwords, if I'm not wrong. So we do not use like any data from ad campaigns or any like we don't actually search doesn't get involved with AdWords or AdSense related data in any manner. So like there's like none of the ad signals or some campaigns that you do in your like tools given by Google AdWords team. Those signals don't actually come into effect with regards to ranking. So we don't use any ads related signals for organic search. Does that make sense? Neeraj? Like if your voice is not, if the voice input is not working, you can type in the chat. Just, okay. Okay, just move on to the next question. Now in ranking, what is the percentage of on-page, off-page and social media factors? So I don't actually have any percentages as such, but some of the key factors for say on page would be obviously the content on the page and the user experience. So like how you want to present the content on your page to your user, and you know what's the most important content of a particular page, and is it being presented properly to the user. These are the things that you can think about with regards to on page, like what Google considers for a ranking. And for off-page signals, I'd say linking is obviously one of the most important. Like it's pretty well known that we use PageRank, we use links for our PageRank algorithm. And regarding social media, we don't actually use any social media signals for ranking. So like the amount of Twitter follows or Facebook likes or whatever don't really matter when it comes to your organic search ranking. But the Facebook page itself, it's treated like any other page. So like if you have a website abc.com and you have a Facebook page with ABC, it's pretty much treated as another page on the web. And if it has relevant content, there's no reason for us not to rank the Facebook page. But like having a Facebook page with a lot of followers doesn't mean your website of the same name will rank higher in organic search. I hope that was clear. Okay, is there an Ramesh? Can you hear me? So like there seems to be disconnects. I don't know if that's an issue.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, we'll move on to the next question. If a brand has multiple CCTLEs, what will you suggest? Do I mean like creating Wikipedia, Facebook pages for ORM for each CCTLD, or can I have one Facebook or Wikipedia or LinkedIn page? Does it matter in ranking? Again, just like I've said previously, like other social media pages or Wikipedia pages don't really, like, you know, those pages aren't a direct ranking signal. Obviously, they could help in like directing traffic to your users. You know, you could build your brand using a Facebook page, and that way you're getting more traffic to your website, and like, you know, improving your user base and stuff. But directly, there's no like we don't actually use those signals for ranking as such. Having same design and layout for the site for a very long time can affect rankings. As Google wants to serve the best user experience, does it count site design, look and feel? Well, let's see. Obviously, we want to serve websites that give a good user experience, right? So we've actually sent out, made a lot of documents over the past couple of years. Like if you've seen the web fundamentals documentation, you'll see a lot of documentation around like optimizing for mobile, page speed, etc. And obviously, user experience also plays a huge part. Like the whole mobile push is so that we want a good user experience for people on like users on mobile. So obviously, user experience matters, but with regards to if the same design and layout for a long time can affect ranking, that depends. Like if you feel your website, the design is good for your users on like multiple devices and it makes sense, and that's the best way. That's the best experience for your users. Then even if it's the same page same design stays for 2-3 years, it doesn't matter. But obviously, like with regards to mobile and stuff, there are some changes that need to be made. So we just need to take that into account. Is pattern-based content considered as low-quality content? Means I have 500 destination pages. I will. Okay, so if I get it correctly, so you have a website with, say, a travel agency, and this, like, you have a travel agency website and 20 pages for 20 different cities. But like the information in most of those cities is the same, except you're just adding the city name and phone number for all those 20 different pages. And you're asking if that is low quality content. I'd say, yeah, it could be low quality content, because see, if you're having 20 pages and except maybe the city name and phone number, all the other content on the page is the same. It's the same boilerplate template. Then it doesn't make sense to have 20 different pages. Instead, you can have like one page with like the whatever information about your travel agency, you're providing them in one page, and you just have a list of cities that your service is available in. Or if you actually want to have different pages for different cities, then you need to make sure each page has like information unique to that city, something that provides more value for a user actually going through different pages of your website.
So I think
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, to add to it, I think one way to look at it is, actually my voice is echoing. If you guys can mute.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. So one way to look at it is like, okay, what is the purpose of these pages? You creating so many city pages. Is it only for you to rank those pages in search results, or are those specific city pages going to be useful to your users in any way? So if you have some content which is very specific to a city, right? So for example, the same example, if you're a travel agent, for example, and then you have, say, for example, different tour packages for each of these cities, and you have different communities, say, for example, people commenting, reviewing experiences within those cities, sharing pictures of that city, a lot of content which is very specific to that particular city. It makes total sense to have individual pages or individual even sections for each of these cities. But if it is like the ultimate goal of the page, or the end result of all of the pages is like they're reaching the same form, say for example, that they are supposed to fill to sign up for something. So what is ultimately happening is it is all these pages are kind of acting as a doorway, without adding any additional value in each of these pages. So in that case, it doesn't absolutely make sense to have those many pages.
I would say just to follow up on this one. So I mean, similar to that city pages, we have this. I mean, you can say the listing kind of pages for different topics basically. So we are a new site, so we have to cover everything. So we having all these topic pages based on different subject matters and that is happening in India or maybe the international market. So what we are doing is we're just creating our pages and then updating our news over there. So is it just sufficient, or we need to put anything else on the pages so that can make it more useful for the users, basically. I mean, in terms of like the kind of content that needs to be put on page.
So
So,
these are
okay, one first, like obviously, looking at the page itself will give us a better idea. But if I'm not wrong, I assume it's like a list of articles, right? Yeah, so list of articles, say category sections of a website where you have like underscores, you have 15 articles for that particular date. But I'm assuming each article actually, sorry, each link, uh, you're probably providing a snippet, but each link actually takes you to a different unique page, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I'd say in that case it's fine. Like a lot of people have category pages which like some users would like to browse all the articles in under the sports section of a particular website. So that's totally fine. So like because as long as you're providing, they still can actually click a link and read through the remaining article. That provides a good user experience, so that's totally fine. On the other hand, if it's simply like a page with list of articles, but like it doesn't lead a user anywhere, it's just snippets of certain articles, then it doesn't make much difference like from a Google search page. Even we are providing links with snippets, right? So if you're providing the same page, then like it's simply user going from one search result page to another search result kind of page. So that doesn't make any sense. But on the other hand, if it's simply a category page that adds value to a particular website and for their users, then it's good, and I wouldn't say it's a low quality page.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so the next question is, so there's an Angular JS website and they wanted to show Sitelinks search box, and they're using escape fragment to serve content to bots from server. Also, their search functionality is not on root but subfolder. Okay, first things first, Sitelinks search box, it's not a guarantee for all websites. Obviously, like, it's good to implement it and everything, but like, it's algorithmically determined based on, like how reputed a website is and all that, some other signals. So Sitelinks search box doesn't, like just because you implement doesn't mean we'll show that search box in search results for a particular website. But if you're like not sure about if on the technical side if it's implemented properly or not, we have the structured data testing tool. So you can just paste your HTML there, and you can test to see if Google is actually seeing it properly, or if there are any issues with Google being, one, able to access the content, or two, if there's any like wrong schema written or some syntax errors that don't make sense to Google.
I
I
think there
think
is
there
a
is a
similar
similar
question
question
from
from
Shweta
Shweta
about
about
Sitelinks, and her website is also an Angular JS. One thing
one
also
Yes.
to note is
is
the
the
Sitelinks
cycling
search
search
box is
box is
triggered
triggered
only
only
for
for
navigational queries, right? So it is not that it may trigger for any other all types of queries. It triggers only when people are searching for some navigational keywords that represent your website. So for example, they're searching your brand name, your website name, your domain name. They're searching for you by that name. So it is in those instances that we show the search box, because what we have seen on search is behavior where people type in, say, for example, Pinterest, and then when we show the Pinterest website in the search results, they go to Pinterest, and ultimately they have to search for content on Pinterest, right? So what we have done is we have taken that one step out from them searching about Pinterest on Google search to them searching in Pinterest. So what we have started to show is when people are typing navigational queries like Pinterest, we would show the search box right in the search results, so people can actually, without leaving Google search results page, can directly search within Pinterest, right? And few things to note. I mean, there are some places where there can be errors in the implementation of this code. First of all, you need to ensure that you have a working search engine, and then the corresponding URLs that you mention in the schema should be appropriate. And by the way, your search engine can reside in a folder or in a subdomain. That's not a problem. But the URLs that you give and the string that you have to give, it has to be appropriate. So there is a documentation on developers.google.com. If you can read that, it's pretty simple to implement, though. Read and implement, you can be sure that it is correctly implemented. And as Ashish rightly mentioned, ultimately, it is not a guarantee that it may show up in the search results even for the navigational queries for your site. It may depend on a lot of factors, like what the user's intent of the query is, for example, and so many other factors that we look at and determine whether to show for that particular user, for that particular keyword, for that particular site, whether to show the search box or not.
Yeah, but in general, sometimes, like if we are sometimes you'll actually get a notification in Search Console if you're eligible to implement the Sitelinks search box. So that's one like like indicator, but otherwise, yeah. Okay, Google recently announced the new Brotli compression algorithm. Can you please explain what this? So honestly, I don't have much clue other than like I know that it improved the compression ratios, and it's like you get faster page load times, etc. But other than that, I know pretty much as you guys. So sorry about that. Okay. What, according to Google, is best way to promote or market your website business? Sorry?
Okay, what is the best way, according to Google? If you know of best ways, please let me also know. So basically, I think it's more of a business decision than a search engine decision. There are tons of things that you could do to promote your business and promote your website. There are offline methods, there are online methods. So I think this is definitely not a search engine question, I think. Yeah. But generally, I think if search engine traffic matters for your business, for your website, then make sure you're optimizing it for visibility in search results, so that search engines are generally able to crawl and index your pages. And I mean, probably you guys know there are tons of things within that aspect that you can look at. So yeah, I think that's it.
So regarding pagination, we're a news site and we have many listing pages. Okay, I think I just answered this question, if I'm not wrong. So just skip this one. The schema for local business, can it be implemented on nationwide sellers? So, like if you're implementing, like say, a restaurant schema for a local like restaurant or some utility service or something like that on a nationwide seller, like as long as you have like pages unique to that particular city, then it makes sense to do that. Otherwise, like Google obviously wants to show pages that are relevant to that local query, right? So if you're searching for like locksmiths in Hyderabad, we'd obviously want to show Hyderabad related results. Even like the site can be a nationwide site, but it can have a branch in Hyderabad, so that is totally fine. But like if you're simply a Delhi-based locksmith, and if you're trying to implement schema for like saying it's for Hyderabad, then it doesn't make sense, and that could actually be a violation of our guidelines too. So. Duplicate content. If we have same content on a website on different pages, it should be duplicate content or not. I mean, yeah, that is pretty much like what we consider duplicate content. So one very common example is, say you have a product page for a shoe, and like for every different color, the color parameter changes. Like say you have 5 different URLs for red color, the same shoe, but in red color, yellow color, green, and other different colors. So like you basically have 5 unique URLs, but the content on all those pages is the same except for different colored shoe. So that is pretty much what we consider duplicate content. So what Google does is we pick one out of those 5 pages. Ideally, it would be the URL with the nicer URL without the extra parameters and stuff. We generally pick that and show it in search results, and the other 4 will be marked as a duplicate of the one that was picked. So this is not harmful. Like if you don't feel like putting in extra effort, it's completely fine to just leave it to Google to make that decision for you. But if you want to control how pages are shown, you can always use rel canonical tags, and there's this feature in Search Console called URL parameters. So you can select or mention different URL parameters of your website and also mention how Google should handle them. Okay, is there any tool to know whether I hit with panda or penguin and how many keywords I can add on a single page? So no and no. So see, panda and penguin, as long as your content is good and you make sure you're not violating any of Google's Webmaster guidelines, you shouldn't worry about those panda or penguin. And regarding keywords, again, see, don't think about adding keywords on a page. Rather, think about what is the content that you want to deliver to your users. If it's a product page, think about how you should present that page so your user will buy the whatever product you're selling and a conversion is made, rather than trying to rank in search results by inserting keywords. So because even if you rank in search results, when the user sees that page, he probably won't get a good experience from there. So it doesn't make sense long term. Okay. We have different subdomains. Sorry, by the way, there are, if you guys have any live questions, feel free to interrupt me. Just saying it. Okay, back to the question. We have different subdomains, and each subdomain has different niche. My question is, when I'm searching for one by my subdomain brand name, why is Google showing only a partial name? Okay, so regarding titles and descriptions, obviously we pick titles and description from the meta tag and meta titles and meta descriptions that you provide, and also in some cases, if that is not we don't think it's of good enough quality, we'll probably try and pick it up ourselves from the content on the page. Or there are some third party Open Directory project or DMOS. We can pick titles from there also. So I'd say just quickly check to see if your titles are matching from either your meta tags or DMOS titles. But if it's a DMOS title issue, you can simply add a meta tag called no ODP. So you can basically ask Google not to use meta tags or titles and descriptions from DMOS and stuff. So you can resolve that issue. But otherwise, I'd say just if it's not a DMOS issue, it just means that we are trying to pick a better title for your website. Obviously, sometimes we can make mistakes, so you can just update the title and get the page recrawled or something. So we'll try and update the title ourselves.
Okay, Ashish, the issue here is when I'm searching for any of the keyword, basically, for example, the cricket live is the one. So if you check particular listing, so it says my brand is the NDTV Sports, but when I'm searching for this cricket score, it's just showing as a sports, not that NDTV Sports. So what is the issue? I'm seeing this on my whole website. Whether it sometimes it shows NDTV Sports and sometimes it says only sports. So that is my issue. UI just is showing the part of my brand or not the full brand.
Again, like I said, so sometimes the decisions are made based on sometimes we just look at how relevant a particular query is to the user, and we try to provide titles. Sometimes titles can differ based on the user's query also. So your meta title can stay consistent, but the like title that we show to the user can like differ based on the user's query. So again, like this is like all you can do is like update and like provide a better title if possible. But if there I'll actually like if you can post this in the forum, I'll escalate if and see if there's an actual issue. But I think in this case there's no particular issue as such. We're just trying to pick titles that are relevant for particular queries.
Okay. Just one. I mean, for here, I mean, the title is fine. But the
Okay.
thing is, when Google just adding the kind of brand after the title thing, title part, that's it. I mean, that you guys are, I mean, putting that particular brand after that particular title phase. So that is the issue, not the with the title tag.
Okay, so the brand is coming after the title.
Yes,
Okay.
brand is coming, but the problem is like it's just not coming as a properly as a full phrase, but only a part of it.
Okay. I'll just see if I can escalate the issue. Uh, so everyone wants to increase page load times, but it's pretty hard to achieve. What are the best practices? Okay, you've listed some, but like for a comprehensive view on best practices regarding page speed, I like really urge you to visit the Web Fundamentals page speed page. So there's this full comprehensive section on what all you can do to improve like page load times and performance in general for your website. But one simple thing that I can suggest off the top of my head is having inline CSS and making sure like at least for mobile, the content that's above the fold, like the content that's seen above the fold is delivered immediately to the user. Like instead of getting HTTP requests for certain scripts or images, like first deliver like the content or the article section of what the user sees immediately, and then do HTTP requests for like say images or JavaScript, other functions, whatever.
And not to forget, do use the PageSpeed Insights tool that we have. I think that's a good place to start. It gives a lot of very specific suggestions. And then, yeah, you can take it from there.
I have a question regarding canonical tag. Is there any limit of canonical tag that I can use on one blog? Like, let's say if I have 5 different blogs and I cumulatively collect all the 5 blog into one blog using canonical tag, is that a safe practice or is that seen as a bad practice?
Not really. So canonical tags, you're basically using them to tell Google that all these 5 pages have the same content.
So yeah, here's the thing. Like, let's say I have 5 domain A, B, C, D, E, okay, and I have another domain called F. So if I publish all the article from A, B, C, D, E on F with the proper canonical tag, will that be seen as a good practice, or is there any gray line in this case?
Okay, so the article is you have an article on a.com/article1.html, and that article you're publishing it on f.com/article1.html. Am I right?
Yes.
And you're doing pretty much the same thing from other 4 domains on article 2, article 3, whatever, right?
All content are of high quality. It's just to like put all of them on one.
Yeah, makes sense. So yeah, it's totally fine. Like you're basically telling Google that this article on A and the article on F are the same, but I want the article on F to be indexed in Google.
Yes.
So you're basically on the page A, you're telling that the canonical version of this article is on f.com.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's totally fine. Like that's pretty much how it should be implemented. So
I have 2 questions on this. So in this case, Google will of course index from the domain F as well with the same title. What if I tweak the title, basically tweaking the title and then follow the same practice? Will that be okay?
So I don't get it. You're tweaking the title of the article or the page?
Of the article on domain F. So let's say if I publish the same article from domain a.com on F, I just tweak the title. Will that be okay with the proper canonical tag? Because
yeah, that's fine. Like because like you're still telling Google that both of these are the same pages. and that we should pick one of those pages. So it's again like we pick the f.com article, but because these are like completely different domains, and sometimes we may not sorry sometimes we may not understand like which page came first. There could be some like in this case you own both of the websites, but there could be websites where someone is plagiarizing someone else's content, right?
Yes.
So if like you wrote an article and someone just copy pasted the same article on their website. In those cases, obviously we'll try and like show your article and mark the other one as duplicate content.
So is it
Even
good
with,
practice?
sorry, so even without canonical tags, we'll try and understand like which page is original and which page is duplicate. So yeah, in which case like we'll try and show the original content, but in obviously we don't know that Google doesn't know that like all eight pages all from A to F are yours. But since you mentioned that this is that you actually added canonical tag on A telling that F is F is the correct version of this page, that lets Google know that both of these websites are owned by the same webmaster. I mean, like at least it gives an indication. And so we'll pick f.com and we show that in our search results, and we'll mark A as the duplicate to F.
So is it a good idea to use no index tag in that case along with the real canonical, or let's just leave it index?
No, I would say don't use no index, because if you use no index, we wouldn't know that like the other page is a duplicate page, and after like for some reason if you remove the no index for after some time, like we'll pretty much be seeing two different pages. So I would say let Google handle it. Like because you're telling that this is a duplicate of that page, we'll understand that and we'll show the f.com article.
Makes sense. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, next question. Ranking issue before 1 month, we were on second rank, but we are on the 7th. Is there any update? So like obviously there are a lot of updates, but I don't think there's been any major update that we've announced. So no, there is no big major update. But like there are always small changes that we constantly make to our search algorithm. So and ranking can always keep on fluctuating. So like just keep working on whatever you do.
Okay, a question regarding Google Dance. Is it really true that Google Dance exists for a new domain? Like a new domain, when they go online, they get good ranking. After a while, a month or two, the ranking drops down for a certain period of time. Is that true, or it's just a myth?
It depends completely from like website to website, and like again, so if some website is trying to game search results to rank high, obviously like once we like see if there's some violation, like we'll take manual action on those websites. So that could be a reason. Sometimes you see like fresh websites that are ranking for maybe like few days and then like they go out of the search results. But otherwise, I don't know of such cases.
So let's say it's a myth.
Sorry?
So let's say it's a myth. Google Dance.
Yes, it's a myth.
Okay. Will Google discount links mentioned
Thank
in
you.
navigation, sidebar, footer? Does Google consider these links as boilerplate? Okay. Actually, there's a Matt Cutts video on this link, this exact same question. So again, like when we actually like when PageRank algorithm was first conceived, then pretty much all links were treated similarly on a page. But obviously, like it's been almost like what 15 years since then, and we've improved our search algorithms a lot. So like there is a difference between like different links on a page. Like it's always obviously case by case basis, but as an example, like if you have a website where at the bottom there's a contact link and contact link which leads to some other website, or say web like a link to the web design the firm, the company that created that website, a web design firm link or something. And on the other hand, on the same page, you have like say an article on Mitsubishi cars, and there's a link to Mitsubishi.com. Obviously, like compared to a generic link at the bottom that's present all over the website, and a link that's within the paragraph, like it's telling us that this is a like this is an article about a Mitsubishi car and it's linking to Mitsubishi.com. We'll obviously like value the link in the paragraph more than the generic link at the bottom. But again, this is on a case-by-case basis. It's like there's no we treat footer links badly and we treat paragraph links well. There's nothing like that. So it depends from page to page. Every page we treat links differently.
Okay, Ashish, the reason I'm asking this question is like, I mean, within our content, we are linking our one of the pages, and it's what happens like when Google showing it on search results, it's actually picking up our anchor text from the content link, not from the title or maybe anything like that. That particular text is might be not available on that page, but it is linked from my different pages, so
Yeah.
that's why Google picking that particular anchor.
Yeah, sometimes we do like if like we see anchor text from website A linking to website B. Sometimes we can pick, depending upon the user's query. Sometimes we pick the like anchor text that links from A to B as the title of that particular search result. Like again, like I said, we obviously want to serve results that make more sense for the users. Like users are what we try to serve best possible results for. And in some cases, if we think the anchor text is a good title and that helps and that is more relevant for that particular query, then we'll serve the anchor text. Again, see, like I said, this is case by case basis. For the same page, for the same search result, the title can differ between different queries. Okay, Amit asked, what's the rule in terms of URL truncation in search snippet results? Sorry, I'm not sure I understand this.
Yeah, I think, yeah. So basically, I think he's trying to ask that in the search results, if a URL is too long, then it is kind of truncated, right? From in between, from the end, right? So it is truncated differently all the time. So what are the rules for that truncation? I think I'm not sure what the exact rules are, but I think we try to make it as relevant as possible to that searcher, whoever is searching in that moment in time, whatever keywords you're using and stuff like that. So we try to make it relevant to that person. So for example, if there are certain keywords in your URL that would go way beyond the capacity of the number of characters we can show in the URL in the search results page, then we would want to show the keywords that are there that he has typed in Google search and are present in your URL. We would want to show that keywords to the user, for example. So then we would have to truncate the URL from in between, the part that is maybe not very relevant to that user or that does not contain the keywords, the exact same keywords that user has typed in. So there are certain cases where we do this to basically to enhance the user experience.
Another question: how to optimize images when we have similar images? Okay, so if you have like the image size and width are the same, and you have like say a div class with image container and like some 15 images on the same page. So I'd say obviously the image, the file name is pretty important for us to see the difference. And more than the file name, I'd say like adding some description for an image, and also adding alt text would be like very helpful in letting us know the difference between different images, because then like those images also will try and rank in our image search, right? So like having good descriptions would be like very useful for us, because like we still not that good at like understanding the content inside images. It's pretty hard. So like I'd say like alt text and descriptions.
Okay, I mean, I got to this particular question from one of the forums. So basically, they ask like they have a property kind of site. So what they do is like they having a flat. You can say at different floors. The dimension and the area-wise, their flats are the same basically, and they have file name in place, and they have alt text, and they have captions. So then, what else they can, I mean, to differentiate between these particular thing, plus just by adding the floor name in that alt or maybe file name, something like that, or they can additionally do something to optimize that particular images.
I think like if the alt text and the description are different, that's good enough, in my opinion.
But the only difference is like only the flats basically. I mean, the you can say the floor wise. It is one in the first floor, the other one is the second floor, the third one maybe the other
Okay,
is
you're
sixth
saying
floor.
like for one particular flat, like for the different floors, the alt text and the description are the same.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously then like then you try and differentiate the like have unique descriptions for like the different floors. It's similar to like having unique meta titles and descriptions for like different inner pages of your website. So even like if you have your a sports category, but like all the articles in the sports category have like a generic abc.com sports articles. So we'll probably if sometimes we'll probably pick and show the same generic title for all the sports articles. Obviously, you would want to have unique like for say if one article is about Saina Nehwal winning something, then you would want that title in that article, and if another article is about like Rugby World Cup or something, then you would want that title, right? So it's pretty much the same in this case also. So you even though if you have like similar alt text and descriptions for like different images, but you think they need to be differentiated, then like add in like a little bit extra so that they're unique.
Yeah, I think that's an important point. If they need to be differentiated, right? So, for example, in your case, where you have flats, if they are like all similar looking, I mean, there is actually no difference in reality between these flats. Then I think there is no reason for you to think too hard to differentiate them, because what it is, right? Say, for example, if a flat is smaller, a flat is bigger, or maybe there is some unique aspects to those flats, and if you can um, you know, incorporate those differences. Say, for example, a flat is 1,500 square feet, the other flat is 2,000 square feet, then maybe you can mention that aspect, right? 2,000 square feet flat, 1,500 square feet flat. But if there is no difference at all, they are purely identical, just they're on different floors in an apartment building, then I think there is no reason for you to think too hard to trying to differentiate them.
Okay.
All right, we'll take the next question from Amit. A business having multiple locations, what would be the best way to implement local schema? Can we implement a different location schema on location-specific pages and primary location on homepage, or will that confuse the Google bot for location? Not really. So, like, as long as you have different pages for, different proper schema for different pages, and you do have like unique URLs. So we'd obviously prefer, like, for one particular service on a city, we prefer a unique URL. Other than that, like, as long as you have the schema correct for that particular location, it's fine. Like, we just need, you shouldn't have one URL for Hyderabad and Bangalore, like for the like two different services in different cities. But like if you have one URL, that would be obviously that wouldn't make sense because we have to serve the same URL for Bangalore and Hyderabad. But like having unique URLs will like help differentiate it better, and like even Google can understand properly if you have unique URLs. Next question. Uppercase problem. We have all website URLs in uppercase. Harpic and second. So is it good? I don't think there should be any issue with this. So as far as I know, there's no relation with.
Yeah, I don't think we differentiate between uppercase and lowercase. I mean, there may be a problem in technically at your server's end if you're using a Linux server, Unix server. They are case sensitive, so it may be a problem at the development level. But considering search engines, Google search engine, we do not differentiate between an uppercase and an lowercase. And if you have two URLs, irrespective, I mean, with the same content, irrespective of whether they are different in the uppercase or lowercase, the URLs, doing a canonical tag is a good idea.
Or like, even if you don't do canonical tags, like if sometimes, like, we'll try and understand ourselves, but in that case, we'll probably pick one URL ourselves. But if you want to, like, show a particular, like, if you want the uppercase URL to be shown in search results, then obviously using canonical tag is a good idea. Okay. Can brands influence rankings? If yes, how can small business owners compete with big brands? If no, then why do brands always dominate top search results? So, like, one example I'd cite to tell you that, like, we don't obviously always focus on brands is, like, if you search for Eclipse, instead of getting Mitsubishi Eclipse or like car related stuff, you would get the Java development tools and followed by the NASA Eclipse link. So, like, obviously all the time we don't focus on brands. Our focus is on delivering, like, the best possible search results to users. Like, we want to deliver relevant results to users, and like, obviously in many cases it just so happens that, like, big brands have, like, well curated good websites that, and many users, like, search for big brands in the first place, right? So that could seem like, again, correlation is not causation here. It's just that, like, many users are obviously searching for, like, navigational queries of big brands, and obviously when they're searching for a brand, we'd obviously want to show like results for that brand. And even for generic queries, like, we again try to show the best possible results. Anything to add, Syed?
No, I think that's a pretty good answer.
Okay, Amit has a question. Does Google Weblight algorithm affect the Google Analytics data as the URLs are different URLs served via Google Weblight? I honestly have no clue. Syed?
Yeah, even I don't know how this is being considered in Google Analytics. Yeah, I'm not really sure because we don't belong to analytics team. Right now, I don't know how these are being treated in Google Analytics, so probably we should check on that.
Yeah, I'd say, like, maybe post it in the Google Analytics product forum. Like, probably get a better answer there. So we're not the right people for this question. Sorry about that. Okay, if you have any live questions, we have 5 more minutes. Ramesh?
No, not particularly.
Right. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Syed, even one on off day.
Oh, no problem. My pleasure, indeed.
Bye.
Great.
Bye, guys.